And Conor McGregor can say what he wants, but he won't fight me either. So once I knock out Mike Perry, Conor McGregor, let's run it. But you won't do it because you know what's going to happen. You saw what I did to Nate Diaz, who you went toe-to-toe with. So Conor McGregor, lay off the cocaine, get in the gym, and start winning fights, and then maybe we could have a conversation.
Jake Paul just took a shot at Conor McGregor, or at least he thinks he did. While casually sitting on a podcast with Logan Paul, Jake boldly claimed that Conor avoided fighting him because Jake is too strong. Seriously.
My life is my life. Your life is your life. I'm going to take these opportunities. When we as brothers no longer become additive to each other, and it feels like you or I are trying to take from one another.
When it's convenient for you, we're brothers, but then when it's not, you do the exact opposite of like, we're completely separate, so like I'm going to do what I'm going to do as well.
What does that even mean? Is Jake subtly shading his own brother by suggesting Logan is the weaker option? Or is he so obsessed with himself that he believes every decision revolves around his supposed dominance? Here's the reality check Jake seems to have missed.
Why doesn't he just get in the ring with you?
But that's what I was saying is he's on Twitter, he's on his yacht, he's on cocaine, but he's not in the ring with me.
Conor McGregor has been ruling the fight world for over 16 years. The man doesn't even need to throw a punch to trend. His cauliflower ear alone could probably rack up more likes than Jake's entire fight reel. But hey, credit where it's due, Jake's audacity levels are truly unmatched. Now let's talk about the real headline, Logan Paul versus Conor McGregor. Conor just announced a
McGregor making headlines, but not for an octagon return. So the rumors of a bout are false. I'm in preliminary agreements with the Ambani family to face Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India. I've agreed I will then seek my return to the octagon.
Bombshell boxing exhibition match against Logan, and the news is turning heads everywhere. Here's the twist. It's happening in India, backed by none other than the Ambani family. Yes, those Ambanis. The billionaire tycoons who don't just host events, they redefine extravagance. Let's break down this wild spectacle. The Ambanis don't just throw parties, they build kingdoms while they're at it. You'd think their backing of Conor McGregor versus Logan Paul in India would be the ultimate headline, right? Wrong. Enter Jake Paul.
And Conor McGregor can say what he wants, but he won't fight me either. So
self-appointed spokesperson for, well, Jake Paul. As soon as Jake caught wind of this grand announcement, he did what he does best. Stir the pot. Conor's washed, he declared, as commenting on the weather. For dramatic effect, he added, he needs the Pauls for relevance. Because why settle for a jab when you can go full uppercut?
Obviously, I don't think he's ready to be back in the UFC. I think he will get his ass kicked thoroughly.
Yep.
These fighters are elite. They take this very seriously, and their definition of being in shape and ready to fight isn't bloating themselves up with muscles and looking good in the mirror.
To be fair, Jake might have a point buried under all that bravado. McGregor, once the undisputed king of the fight game, hasn't been delivering highlight reel moments lately. It's been years since his last meaningful win, and Jake believes Conor is clinging to a fading reputation, one that's losing its shine faster than a cheap tattoo.
My life is my life. Your life is your life. I'm going to take these opportunities. When we as brothers no longer become additive to each other, and it feels like you or I are trying to take from one another.
But when it's convenient for you, we're brothers, but then when it's not, you do the exact opposite of like, we're completely separate, so like I'm going to do what I'm going to do as well.
And the real head-scratcher? Of all the opponents Conor could choose, why Logan Paul? A man whose boxing resume is about as serious as a TikTok dance challenge. Jake has a theory, of course. McGregor is playing it safe, taking the path of least resistance, and, according to Jake, ruining his legacy in the...
He's on cocaine, but he's not in the ring with me. And so until he does that, I don't want to hear any more shit from
Wait,
him
what was what's the injury again? He broke a toe?
process. And because Jake Paul never stops at just one mic drop, he went straight for the jugular with a juicy counterclaim. Apparently, Conor McGregor originally wanted to fight him. That's right, Jake Paul, not Logan. But somewhere along the way, McGregor allegedly changed course. Why? If you ask Jake, it's because Conor doesn't have what it takes. No skills, no grit, no confidence, just an empty whiskey bottle and some distant memories of past glory. Instead, McGregor chose what Jake calls the safer option, Logan Paul, a move Jake dismissed with one word: irrelevant. But Jake didn't just hurl insults and walk away. Oh no, he set the stage.
Yeah, he's a broken man, but he's entertaining, and that's why I still like Conor McGregor. But
No, he's the most entertaining.
Well, yeah,
no,
but
he's the most entertaining.
And so is Ryan Garcia, but they're both crashed out cokeheads.
Come on, there's a big difference.
I don't know. It's pretty.
For a potential showdown that could redefine the word hype. Jake made it crystal clear that if McGregor wants to face him, it'll be on his terms. He publicly called out Dana White and the UFC, demanding no shady deals or under-the-table contracts. It's all or nothing. Big money, big lights, and big stakes. And honestly, it's a masterstroke. Jake's essentially calling Conor's bluff. If McGregor still believes he's the king of the fight world, why wouldn't he step up? Unless, of course, Jake's right, and Conor's not ready for a real fight. Taking the time to reflect and reground, Conor's is in a better position.
It's pure entertainment.
Yeah.
It's an exhibition. It isn't Jake Paul training with professional boxers, essentially being a professional boxer, but getting in the ring with non-boxers or geriatric.
To give his adversary the time of day. Let's break it down. McGregor's last meaningful win was way back in January 2020. Remember that flashy 40-second knockout of Donald Cerrone? Since then, a whole lot of nothing. The notorious one has been, well, notoriously absent from the winner's circle. Fast forward to 2021, and Conor McGregor faces Dustin Poirier not once, but twice, resulting in back-to-back losses. The trilogy bout, that was just the cherry on top, ending in disaster with McGregor snapping his leg like a twig in the first round. That brutal injury bent.
Not only that, Michael Chandler has been calling him out forever. Desperately wants his hands on Conor McGregor because he knows that would be a big fight, obviously, and it's something that he wants, and that hasn't happened yet. We haven't seen Conor McGregor win a fight. I mean, he beat Donald Cerrone, Cowboy Cerrone. Cerrone looked like a deer in headlights, as I pointed out that night.
Him for over 3 years, leaving fans wondering if they'd ever see the notorious one return to form. As if that wasn't enough, there's the Michael Chandler fiasco. McGregor's much-hyped UFC comeback was slated for June 2024. Fans were buzzing, the media was in overdrive, and then, poof. 2 weeks before the fight, McGregor pulled out with no explanation and no reschedule in sight. Just another mysterious question mark in a career that's starting to feel more like a quiz than a legacy. Jake Paul, of course, wasted no time piling on.
Once I knock out Mike Perry, Conor McGregor, let's run it, but you won't do it because you know what's going to happen. You saw what I did to Nate Diaz, who you went toe-to-toe with. So Conor McGregor, lay off the cocaine, get in the gym, and start winning fights, and then maybe we could have a conversation.
Calling McGregor unreliable and out of touch with the sport he once ruled. Now let's flip the script to Jake Paul. Say what you will about the guy, but he's not just staying relevant, he's thriving. Jake's been headlining major events, taking on legitimate opponents, and most importantly, delivering. From his knockout of Ben Askren in 2021, to going the distance with Anderson Silva in 2022, and even his recent victory over Mike Tyson in 2024, Jake's been dominating the fight world. Meanwhile, McGregor's legacy is starting.
You can box. Stop fighting people that ain't on your level. That's not right. Enough of that. He said, true, I know I got stuff to prove. I got to get in there. Enough of that.
Yeah.
This is not what Logan Paul's doing. Logan Paul's an entertainer who's gotten in the ring a few times, but he's an entertainer. Conor McGregor is not a boxer. He just got in the boxing ring once.
To feel like a dusty old trophy no one looks at anymore. And then there's Logan Paul. Of all the potential opponents McGregor could pick for his return to boxing, why Logan? Jake Paul has an answer, and it's as cutting as you'd expect. Logan's boxing record might look shiny on the surface, but it's pretty hollow upon closer inspection. Sure, there's the 2019 draw with KSI and the 2021 exhibition against Floyd Mayweather, but let's be real, those were more about the spectacle than the sport. Logan's resume is feather light, making him the perfect opponent for a McGregor who can't afford to risk another loss. To Jake, this isn't about the...
For all the wrong reasons, and then now to
Without
return
question.
for this, I just feel like it hurts his legacy.
Well, wait a minute. He ain't think about no damn legacy. He ain't come back to the States. His brother in India. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They ain't think about that. They ain't think about any of that
what do
stuff.
you mean?
I'm just saying, they're not thinking about it in India. He going to get the money.
challenge. It's about playing it safe. He didn't mince words. Logan beats him however he wants, Jake said, dismissing the fight as nothing more than a puffed-up exhibition. To Jake, this isn't McGregor stepping into the ring for the love of competition. It's McGregor clinging to relevance, like a guy guarding the last slice of pizza at a party. It's calculated, sure, but it reeks of desperation. And let's not forget McGregor's messy history. Back in 2018, he was found liable for assaulting a woman named Nikita Hand at a Dublin hotel. This wasn't some quiet, forgettable scandal. It was courtroom drama, splashed across tabloids. Sadly, it was just the beginning. Over the years, McGregor's personal life has become a tabloid fixture. Assaults, outbursts, and questionable tweets. It's like he's more committed to the chaos than his career. That's why Jake Paul isn't playing games. He's drawn a line in the sand. If McGregor wants to cross it, Dana White and the UFC need to make it.
I'm not talking about what they're deciding.
I don't know if he cares. I don't know if he cares.
He doesn't.
I don't think he cares.
You don't think it hurts his legacy?
I don't think he cares.
No, I'm asking you. Do you think it?
I think his legacy has been hurt, Shannon, over the last few years, getting his ass kicked.
Official. No exhibition fluff. Just real stakes, real fights, and no room for excuses. By dragging the UFC into the mix, Jake Paul isn't just raising the stakes, he's shining a spotlight on McGregor's current reality. And here's the kicker. If McGregor hesitates or bails, Jake's already planted a seed in everyone's mind. Fear. Let's talk about the F word, fear. It's not something you'd traditionally associate with Conor McGregor, the man who built an empire on fearlessness and bravado. But Jake's flipping the narrative, asking a question many have avoided. Why would a fighter like McGregor, once the ultimate risk taker, avoid stepping into a UFC-sanctioned fight with Jake? Jake's answer is simple. Conor doesn't want the smoke. McGregor's had a rough few years. Injuries, losses, court cases. And the last thing he needs is a fight that could expose how far his star has fallen. Meanwhile, Jake isn't just talking. His track record speaks for itself. Love him or hate him, Jake's been shaking up the fight world in ways that leave purists.
With him, I'm going to. He said he's a striker. He's used to clipping people. He said, I'm going to be in his chest. He's going to have to push me off and then swing. He said, plus he's going to have to circle around backwards to gain leverage to punch. He said by about the third or fourth round, his legs are going to be gone and he'll be target practice. He said, I'll keep him around until like the 8th or the 9th round for entertainment purposes, and then I'll finish him.
Fuming and audiences hooked. He's turned combat sports into his playground, pulling names like Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley into his orbit. Let's be real, they didn't sign up because they were bored. The bigger question is this. What does McGregor want from his career? Is he looking to rebuild, climb the UFC ranks and reclaim his throne? Or is he content in this strange limbo of headline-grabbing exhibitions and social media scraps? Jake Paul's rise has turned these quiet questions into full-blown debates, forcing everyone to wonder if McGregor's time at the top is truly over.